Okay, in our last video we mentioned how our plan to add the menu to our game was to add menu buttons that we're going to need. So we're going to have to add a new sprite. But to the ones that we already have, the ones in our game, we're going to replace their trigger blocks and their scripts. Instead of having them start when the program starts, we're going to have them start when the background of the stage switches to the game screen. So there's going to be a menu screen, and there's going to be sort of the arena or the game world. And there's going to be two backdrops in the stage. And instead of, we're going to take off the scripts from the hat blocks that are there in our player and our enemy. And we're going to replace those with other ones, particularly this one. When the backdrop switches to game world, then our hero should show, become visible, and then he should do what he does normally. But when the game starts in the stages, it's going to automatically go when you click the green flag, it's going to go to the menu screen. So the player should know when the menu screen is on, he shouldn't be visible. He should wait until the game starts. The enemy should do the same thing. When it's on the menu screen, hide. But when it's on the game screen, show, and then do all the scripts that are already there. So whatever we take off of the bottom of that, we're going to put underneath that when it starts in the game world. Then we'll come back to the play button. It's going to show up for the menu screen, and it's going to do something when we click it, but we'll come to that in a little bit. So let's start by changing those hat blocks in our play. Okay, we'll start, I guess, by going into our stage and making the different backdrops. We'll call this one that we had before, this gray screen. Let's just call that the game world. And to make a new one, I'm going to click the paintbrush here, and we're going to call this one the menu screen. And I'm just going to make mine black, I guess. So what we're going to do now is make it so that when the game starts, it starts on the menu screen, and everybody's hidden. And when you click the start button, it'll switch to the game world, and all of these people will show up. So if we now go to their scripts, now that we have our two backdrops made, we'll see in their scripts, we'll click them and go into the scripts here, that they all start with those hat blocks with the green flag. We want to go into our events drawer, this brown one, and we're going to use this other one here that says when backdrop switches to. And we're going to bring that in. We have one for menu screen, and we want one for game world. For the player and the zombie and the things that are in the game, when the backdrop switches to game world, we want them to show. And then they should do what they were doing otherwise. So I'm going to take the scripts that were underneath, that started when the program starts, and now we're going to put them underneath this hat block so that the guy won't start until the backdrop switches to the game world. I'm going to have to do the same thing for that one. So I'm going to go to events, and I'm going to get when backdrop switches to game world, and I'm going to put that under there too. There. We can get rid of these for him. And then what we should also say, since the game's going to start at the menu screen, this guy shouldn't be there when the game starts. So when the backdrop switches to menu screen, we're going to say hide. And there we go. So he's not going to show until the game starts, and he's going to hide for the menu. I'm going to click this and drag it and put it into every single other guy, because they're all going to hide for the screen, menu screen too. And I'm going to take this part of it, just this part, and I'm going to give that to all of them too, because in the next video we're going to set them up just like we set up this guy, and they're going to need those blocks. Okay, well, we'll finish that in the next video.